to Villa. A famous, like, famously pug-stacky map.
Well, I'm not too sure why we are heading here as well. I thought Nocturns did rather well going on a theme park against One Shot, a team who is now technically the best in the league currently, and now they're heading into Villa, which is probably going to be much more of a comfort zone for TookTheKids, so definitely seems a little odd. But what isn't odd is the bans. All pretty normal. Thatcher, Habana, Valkyrie. Final one, probably going to be Mira. Yeah, makes sense. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, but probably having both the Wamai, Jaeger, and all that heavy emphasis on the util, we're probably going to see a lot of extensions involving those operators, but also the counter argument to that, there are also Flores drones available too. So a lot on the board in terms of, you know, util-based compositions for both Nocturnes and TookTheKids.
I want to see if Nocturnes still pull out interesting stuff, even though they have poison. But we might have to wait for the defense for that, because you can usually get a lot more creative on the defending side than you can the attack, just because of the nature of how the game works. But Not Nice is back. We don't need Packer, even though he played admirably. Not Nice did not have a family emergency this time. So, TookTheKids are I guess, at full strength, one might say. Mr. B was a demon with the Cade Claws on their theme park game. I mean, Electro Claw tricking, what, like twice on that bunk wall to completely deny the Thermite. But TookTheKids have a relatively close to the chest style defense, I believe, locking off a lot of these walls with the Electro Claws, shield in sight with the smoke, along with those Banshees. If they want to extend out, they're more than able to, especially because they have that Alibi, and Alibi is a premier roamer, and it looks like that is indeed exactly where TPA is playing.
Having the Cade Claw placed lower in a floor, as I believe TookTheKids are not expecting anybody to have, that Zofia or like an Ashe, for example, to play for Vert underneath. Instead, they are expecting that grenade pressure, which seems to be the idea for Nocturnes on paper, but they do have Lackey playing underneath, going on this clear in a dining room, even having backup from Salty as well. So having that grenade being tossed out vertically actually is a pretty good option here, and Mr. B might have to try to salvage one of his many Cade Claws to actually trick the wall, as it might get destroyed very early in the round, which is probably not anticipated by TookTheKids.
Well, if he can salvage it at the end of this clear, remember there are plenty of nades below, and Mr. B is sitting right in a default nade spot where that shield is placed. Especially, we saw, plenty of pings going down. If Nocturnes have any info in sight, they likely know where that Cade is chilling at. Not Nice is playing on top red with a, I don't even think that's new red dot. I think that's the old red dot on Jaeger's gun, which is a little odd. And he's actively challenging this bore window that we just saw someone from Nocturnes break. And it seems like they've now, with the exception of the nade operators, now, setting up outside of Master. I believe the Cade Claw has been cleared. I saw explosions from below. So that'll likely make way for Filthy's breach. Tragical allowed to rotate upstairs because, of course, the attackers are not yet challenging. No, the Electric Claw is actually still there. So Lackey's expended both nades, and yet the breach can still can't be opened.
And no kill either with those grenades. Yeah, a huge waste of not only utility, but also time. There's a minute left for Nocturnes. We've got Nyx, though, on the late flank, and yeah, he just shoots Tragical right in the back of the skull. One tap, that's all he'll need. And at least they've got the man advantage. Not for very long, though. Salty will quickly change that back, and I guess it's just a back and forth constantly in these final 50 seconds, Harrison, as we're now down to the 3-on-3.
Astro, though, cannot be taken by the attack. Mr. B shuts down Slothy. Nyx is still pushing by Boar, but he's completely separated from his teammate. That's not going to stop Nyx from getting a second kill, though, evening up the man count 2 apiece. No C4 from Mr. B left either. Just these 2 gas canisters from Trist. He can completely deny Brick's doorway if he chooses, but Nightmare Nyx is encroaching by his backside, but he'll be gassed off the Boar doorway and have to retreat back. Maybe now doubling up with Filthy. Mr. B still has the shield to play with. He will dome Filthy, and it's a 4th for Mr. B. Mr. British holds on to the site fervently and completely denies Nocturnes.
Well, some of that having to do with the time stall, I could imagine. Really, the only thing Nocturnes had going for them was Nyx just solo walking in through 90 and catching a couple people off guard. But besides that, it was just a consistent trade game by TookTheKids, and their site pressure being so strong because nobody had the triple wall opened up, it kind of forced Nocturne's hand in a very bad spot. So TookTheKids doing a very good job so far on their defense. Now they get to reap the rewards of that by heading in towards Aviator, which can be a much more, or could be much easier site to defend depending on who you ask, Harrison.
Yeah, and moving on to AVG now. Mr. B can probably do the exact same thing with those Electro Claws. You know, tuck them in the floor. And, I mean, Nocturne's already failed in clearing it once. I'm really afraid, John. I'm really afraid that they're going to fail to clear it again. I mean, they have same amount of nades. They even had those Twitch drones.
10 seconds left.
And still, the breach was completely locked. Mr. B has been making excellent work of this Cade so far. I am begging Nocturnes, please be able to open this wall. I mean, at the very least, right? Like with the other wall, he kind of put them in the corners, very hard to reach spots. I think one was even in bathroom, and like went through the wall to get master. So you don't have as much opportunity or as much leniency to do that with AVG, just because there's more like wall to cover. But it looks like he's not going for that. He might. Ooh, I don't know if he was tricking or maybe he just has like the perfect spot in the middle of that wall.
You're just readjusting the K claw before anything had to happen.
Yeah,
having Nyx on the Twitch could maybe allow for that K claw to be spotted. Besides that, though, if it is placed in the vault door properly, we might need to see a grenade potentially tossed, but like you mentioned with the tediousness by Mr. B to have that almost perfectly placed, maybe even a nade, the shrapnel might not even connect onto that either. So we might see another heavy funnel by Nocturnes, and we already saw how that went around number 1, where we did not have them really find all that much success, except for in the very early bits of that push, where we had Nyx at the opening duel, but even then, it was an immediate trade, and it was still really no team as a decisive victor at the end of round number 1.
Speaking of the Twitch, drone comes in. It's going to look to try and get the BP, but no, spotted out by Tragical just in time. He will end up destroying it, and looks like he falls back through the Astro Hatch as well. They also know about this defender downstairs. Could come under fire very soon, but no. Lackey lets him slip by, and it ends up causing the death of his teammate, and he's being bared down upon by Tragical. There's now a 2-on-1 fight down below. The Nomad now comes in for the assist, but Tragical has sprinted away. TPA is going to keep pressing the issue, though. Looking for the kill on Lackey. He will dodge the shots from the Finka at first. Fact remains, he's still downstairs, but there is a third coming in. It does not look the right way. Nyx will eventually refrag him, but I mean, 2 minutes off the clock, and you took down the sledge. There's no more nades on the board, and Nocturnes are very pressed for time.
Yeah, once again, short on the seconds here, only 50 seconds overall, and I mean, TookTheKids, they are still in some dominating positions. We do have somebody on 90 window trying to apply some pressure on a both Tragical and Not Nice, but no one's even cleared out main just yet. Trist finds one before being shut down by Exod. Still have to worry about that 90 pressure. It's a 1-for-1 between the Jaeger and Nomad, 2 versus 2. But once again, in general speaking, TookTheKids are in a much better position, but there goes the crossfire, both by Nyx and also Filthy. And now it's all down to Mr. B in the middle of Aviator in the 1 versus 2. 20 seconds, he'll try to get aggressive, but Nyx is there at the ready. An interesting play, I've got to admit, but at least it gives Nocturnes a win they desperately needed.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad you get to do the color here, because I don't know how I'd color that.
No.
Oh, man. Spoke too soon.
Okay, so Nocturnes took a while to get in. They took a while to set up. You know, droning was not lackluster. Like, they knew TPA was down there, and TPA still went 1-for-1 and wasted 2 minutes. Took a set of nades completely off the board. And then TookTheKids were like, you know what? What if we walk at them? And, well, clearly it didn't work. I mean, Trist was holding main stairs. That's whatever. You know, he went 1-for-1. Not Nice walks up books and challenges main stairs and also goes 1-for-1, which is, you know, questionable, but he got, you know, he went 1-for-1. You know, it's whatever. Then, Tragical in a 2 versus 2 with a C4 operator on the board thinks to himself, 90 is the play. Yeah, I'm going to sit 90. And just gets pinched because Nyx has been hitting the crouch walk all game and just did it again. And then Mr. B, instead of sitting in sight like a good boy and waiting for the people to push him and then killing them because one of them was low HP, he hops over the shield, even though Nyx just killed his teammate from Boar. That round made very little sense, if you guys haven't been able to tell yet by my tone of voice. But TookTheKids are going back to AVG. Maybe this round will make more sense.
Hopefully. That would be nice to see. Looks like Nocturns are just solely focusing on pushing in through main, having one player up near study. That's really about it. So they're not trying to keenly look down through the Boar window early on, not trying to deal with that top floor presence completely, except through the area of main. There's going to be a bunch of those ADSs, the shield, also a Melusi Banshee, but a grenade and a Rotero drone will both be popped out in sync. So a lot of that utility already gone early on. Not a bad start by Nocturns, but are they aware that Triss has gotten hyper aggressive? Yes, because they drone him out. Like you mentioned, Crow, the drone game has been quite swell so far for Nocturns, and once again, that's going to remain true.
Yeah, and that'll force Triss all the way back off of main. Boost being hit by Lackey, but at least on the main side of things and the study side of things, there's no push off of it. So not quite sure why that Finka boost was hit. So maybe a bit of a waste there for Lackey. There's holes in the floor, though, and wow, Trist is going to get dumpstered by Lackey. So although he didn't have the boost, he still gets the pick. Slothy domes the next on the not nice. Neither of those two defenders really standing any semblance of a chance against those swings. That leaves us in a 5 versus 3. Nocturnes heavily in the favor in this round, but people like Mr. B and TPA are still left alive. 90 control also still in the favor of the defense, although TPA is full flashed. There again is no capitalization. There is no push off of it, which makes sense. You know, Filthy can't necessarily know that he full blinded the alibi. There's no assist coming from Nyx from the backside just yet. There's no one going there. And in fact, the assist was coming. TPA just completely denied it. And Filthy is now off the rappel. That means 90 control fully in the hands of the defense, unchallenged. That is, until TPA drops. Looking to flank by main. Someone's watching it, though. As he fires towards Lackey, they should be aware of it. In goes Tragical. No! He's going to hop on the cams and die to Lackey, giving up sight. What a unfortunate fat finger. Mr. B's got the C4. He'll send it in, but he won't lift it. Lackey kills him before it gets sent off. Now TPA's in a 1v4 post plate, and he can do nothing against Nocturnes.
Wow, a series of unfortunate events there for the defense. Tragical. Bad fingering on the cam like you highlighted, and also the flank by Taha or TPA just not working out at all. Everything just failed for TookTheKids besides having the alibi at least find some sort of kill for 90 before having to back down. You lose a lot of that pressure, which would stop a bar plant, so it was basically free real estate for Nocturnes, and especially having Lackey be so prominent in that round, having great coverage, having a good entry kill for Nocturnes, he just played his role on the Finka, and it allowed for basically just a seamless post-plant position in that 1vx, and at that point, I mean, TookTheKids, they basically had to forfeit that round at that point once we saw the site pressure for Nocturnes.
Tragical had like 2 or 3 freebies. And then fat fingered the camps. Also, TPA could have almost single-handedly deny that Book's play. Like, he was in 90. If he just waited a sec, you know, if Tragical was distracting them, then that's an easy, you know, as Carter loves to say, that's quite the potent 1-2 buckle my shoe, John. And he decided instead he was going to flank main, completely giving up that control, allowing that, like, triple, maybe even, like, quadruple push through Books. So, poor positioning from TPA combined with the fat finger means a loss of the round. I really thought Mr. B was going to kill Exile with that C4 too, but Lackey was too far pushed in to let that happen. Now, the kids, they will go back to the only site they have won this far.
Well, I think they still had pressure on 90, or at least the alibi was expecting somebody to go back to 90 after getting that kill, which is probably why the fallback had happened. But yeah, just upsetting round for TookTheKids once again. So Nocturns actually have the lead 2-1. We are going back to Trophy, though, which was a very strong sight for TookTheKids, despite they did technically lose the first blood. They did immediately trade, and again, because the triple wall never got opened up because of the lack of proper nade plays by Nocturns, it did allow them to have a very strong site presence. And now having the Ying on the board, which don't get me wrong, it does play into that aggression game, not having a lot of grenades on the board to get rid of most of these K-Claws, that could be a problem here for Nocturns. Exod does spot one and finally destroys it, but you know, Mr. B still has more than one, so it's still just a reposition on that K-Claw, and you still have all three walls electrified.
Yeah, I mean, Filthy is going to take advantage of it, though, so at this point, Mr. B cannot deny the ace breach, and that is the side of the wall that you want open, you know. So, I mean, the other side being still electrified, not the biggest deal in the world, because, again, you have that long angle all the way through Astro Split. If you were to actually jump in the building, then you can even see into the other bomb site. So, well done by Nocturns, spotting out where that Electro Claw was. Cheeky little hiding spot from Mr. B, but fact remains, there is only 1 minute left. And a lot of these TookTheKids players are still rather extended, and Mr. B, he's going to start the killing in this round, taking Nyx off the board. That is Osa dead first, so no shields. Filthy gets a refrag, though, on Trist, and, I mean, sure, you lose the Osa shields, but as the defense, no more smoke, babes. Especially with the Ying on the board, that's going to be free control as Exod just continues to walk in by himself. He doesn't need any Candelas. He simply kills Mr. B and has complete control of Astro Split. Up comes TPA, though, and he'll kill Lackey. That drops Case in Bathroom, and he's looking for the kill on the player on Astro Window, but he'll fall back thanks to that flash. The only person actually inside is Not Nice, so he's got a lot of players to try and deal with. His TPA is still attempting to assist, but is stumped by this Repel player. Setting up air jabs as Exod, but nope, it'll actually be ADS. TPA goes 1-for-1 with Filthy. Exod runs across the site, giving himself to Not Nice, and that means Slothy alone in the 1v2, who has yet to use any of his utility. His team was in sight, and instead of trying to stop those defenders from coming back and facilitating the execute, he hung out on the Astro Repel. You have a Ying. Use her.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't just have Ying play maybe on the triple wall, because the purpose of that Astro Repel was either to use utility to force back the player near like the rotate hole / like the desk of Astro, or it's just to hold the cutoff and guarantee a kill. Slothy did neither, so rotating into Master and throwing Candelas into sight, allowing the plant to happen, especially with no Talon Shields, that's your one main set of coverage, so you have to use the Ying Candelas at a very fast rate, essentially. It just seemed a bit odd. It felt like a lot of problems were still shining through by Nocturnes once again. Even when they killed Trist, who was the main person there to stop a plant from going down, they still won because of the poor positioning by Nocturnes, and honestly, poor coordination in general. Again, lack of proper utility usage, and just where they were set up in those final 30 seconds, it was not a good look for them.
Attackers have located a bomb. 10 seconds
Yeah, that was weird. That's kind of been the... I feel like I'm going to say that every round in this game.
Probably.
Every round's post-analysis is just going to be, that was weird. So we see Pulse Shotgun now. That's weird. Actually, not really. I mean, it's dining. You know, the whole floor is soft. If Mr. B, you know, is actually looking to shoot people, then he'll mainly be doing it through the floor. But there's plenty of coverage upstairs from this defense. You even have people extended horizontally inside of a living room library. And the attackers, of course, have pings. Lackey doesn't know if he's got support, though, which is why he's not jumping in. But now that he gets the call, he really wants to challenge this Jaeger. Not Nice. He'll finally shoot the drone, but that doesn't appear to be the only one on him, as you can still hear pings going out. That's Not Nice is going to begin to fall back and then just chill in the hallway. Okay.
Well, that was weird. That is going to be a recurring thing at this point, isn't it now? Still a lot of the match to go as well. It's only round number 5. But yeah, Not Nice gone. That is kind of one small thing I have been noting. Hasn't been as impactful so far in the beginning of this matchup, but they have found a couple of kills here and there to set the tone for TookTheKids. Unfortunately, this is not going to be one of those few instances. Nocturnes are actually in the lead. Still going for more of a horizontal clear as of right now, but if they want to, they could try to go and play for vertical. But apparently, They had no idea that TPA was still in the basement floor, roaming about on the alibi. He finds one, but okay, just here's the site rush. All right then, Nocturns, let's see what you can bring out to the table in this 4 versus 3.
Filthy is already planting. In comes the vault through Mudroom, so he's got China on lock, but no, he whiffs on TPA, giving TPA 2 more kills. The plant goes down, though. Filthy gets off, gets one. Tragical refrags. It's a 1v1. Trag and Slothy, the sledge down on Pantry stairs, but he's low HP. Tragical's got no info, though. He doesn't even know where the case is planted, it looks like. He'll finally see it. He'll start to bait it out. There's the push from the sledge, but what? Not a single bullet lands. Slothy wins the fight, and off a China rush, Nocturns wins the round.
And I don't think any of us expect that to happen, but thank God we saw our observer just barely manage to catch that and be like, oh, they're running into sight? Okay. And Nocturns, just off the fact they had the element of surprise and barely had a man advantage, did they scrape away that round? I mean, don't get me wrong, the sledge was in a much better position to win that gunfight, no matter what, even having 2 grenades. But the fact that they really had no clue about some of the positioning of the roam game by TookTheKids did seem very concerning, and the rush didn't feel like a fully flushed out strat. It just seemed almost like a last second shot call of, oh, they don't have a lot of presence on the site, let's just hit it and go for the plant, which don't get me wrong, it works, so definitely a good shot call, but very, very close call for Nocturns, where you wouldn't think they would have this much trouble against TTK, but so far it's that's not been the case right now.
Yeah, as far as the site play goes, it's been pretty good for Nocturns with the exception of Trophy. Every AVG round and that one dining round, Nocturns is one off of just really good drone info. Like, especially with, I mean, sure, maybe they didn't know TPA had dropped 90, and if he stayed there, that plan wouldn't work, but they saw how lightly defended the site was on AVG, and just bull rushed their way in. That time on dining, they saw, I mean, there were a bunch of people upstairs, but Mr. B was exposed. He was still looking at that cardiac sensor. Even the Jaeger, who was the only one holding that horizontal, goes down. There is not a lot going on in the site. So what does Nocturns do? They abandon the top floor push and just run through China. And even though they don't have poison, Nocturns' drone game and their calls so far are seemingly still on point, which is impressive.
Well, I mean, I remember looking back through a couple of things, we did manage to catch that Nyx is, you know, still very comfortable in that IGL/shot calling role. So even not having poison here, that void is still filled to a degree. So you can still have those last second adaptations be made, which have been pretty decent by Nocturne so far. But it seems more or less like the early game has been a tad bit questionable sometimes for Nocturnes against TookTheKids. It looks like, funny enough, the attack might be opting to go for the exact same play once again. They've already opened up the pantry wall. TPA is able to move away closer to the bomb chassis. They're not going to die just yet, but having the pulse feed all this information, it almost seems like TookTheKids are almost fully prepared for this push leading through pantry, but not nice. He just is not prepared for Nyx, despite the fact he saw the drone and probably heard the footsteps by the Jackal as well.
So again, Not Nice gets caught out in a bit of an odd position and leaves his teammates in a 4v5 for the second round in a row. And TPA, looking to re-engage, gets taken out. Tragical able to kill Exod, but it's still a man disadvantage here for TookTheKids. Now they know that the Mozzie's coming in on the flank. It looks like Nyx is on the hunt. He's got the cutoff from the doorway. Tragical might just go upstairs, though, or just chill and perch himself on red. Filthy takes out one. Lackey's refrag. Tragical's got no idea. It's a triple kill for Nyx. Trist alone on the site is in a 1v3. The only thing standing between Nocturnes and an advantageous 4-2 half moving into their defensive side. Trist will start to push out. Miss the shots on Nyx, though. Now they know exactly where he is, and that's a pretty easy free fire and clean up for Slothy. Really nowhere for Trist to move in that corner. Just like I said, 4-2 half for Nocturnes.
And it is not a good sign at all for Not Nice, really. I mean, again, just completely soloed out, doesn't have enough time to react, is not in a good spot to win the gunfight. He's out in the open in living room and cannot fall back. Can't even make that final decision of, does he want to get aggressive and go for the swing or make the gunfight? No, Nyx made that decision for him and completely outgunned him. And having Nyx still remain alive, play for that cutoff like you mentioned, and still just be a dominating force for Nocturnes, which wasn't even the main part of their push. They were still just going in for a direct take near pantry and laundry. It was a lot thrown at TookTheKids at the exact same time, and they really just fell apart. Almost the exact opposite of what we saw in their matchup yesterday against Aerial Rise, where they really did seem like a well-oiled machine. Now they just seem like they need another tune-up again at the mechanic shop.
Yeah, Villa has not been going their way so far. So maybe our questioning of Nocturne's decision is faulty. Maybe they knew exactly what they were doing and TookTheKids are just getting outclassed by a more practiced Nocturne. Right now, the way TookTheKids is playing is just... I'm going to just keep using this word. It's been weird. Like, they're getting caught out in such weird positions, just like standing out in the open, re-engaging when they really shouldn't. It's like they're trying to play entry denial, but they haven't refined it, if that makes sense. Which, like ranked, But, I mean, they'll start to move in. They've at least got drones ahead of them. So, step number 1, good on their attacking side. Tragical's looking to gain some map control with drones going in. He's scared of pushing 90, though. Lackey eats a nade to the face, but lives with barely any damage done, and he's going to quickly fall back. He knows that the attackers know exactly where he is. Filthy's looking to hold on for longer. Hopefully he's not going to be found overstaying his welcome because he's armed with just a Roni against 3 attackers, 2 LMGs, and an AK-12. But he's still able to get out, tucking behind the doorway. He's even got someone coming in for the assist. Trist misses a lot of shots, but eventually the pistol comes out, and they get the opening frag on Filthy.
And if we had lost that hard breach as well, Harrison, it's going to be mostly just a funnel, if not a late play by somebody walking up Astro stairs. That does limit your attack tenfold, because we've seen how an attack on Trophy folds out when triple wall's not opened up. It's a very strong anchor game, and there is really nothing that the offense can do. But now that Trist has survived that 1-for-1, barely, but he still lives, that does give a pretty strong position overall by TookTheKids. The one thing I don't like, though, is having this glass cannon play by himself. If nobody else lates rotates this guy and he just dies by exile because he's playing aggressive, that is my entire point completely gone and removed here.
Yeah, Trist being really low is your primary, or not your primary planter. I thought he was going to be because he's, the hard breach, but it's actually Mr. B. Tragical just big cojones it into sight and kills Nyx, I guess. So now we're in a 5 versus 3. 2 players on the attack lit up, but do they know about Exod? You already mentioned this Jaeger's position before. I'm going to bring it up again, because that could be dangerous, but as the bodies keep falling, it might not be as important as we think. Exod and Slothy get 2. TA trades out, meaning we're in a 3 versus 1. And Exod, he might be about to run right into this Repel player. It's not nice to get the last kill, and TookTheKids win their first attack.
And although Trist wasn't that impactful, was he more or less the live bait, I suppose? Because TookTheKids, they almost were playing as if Trist was going to die, and then the Jaeger had to rotate either through statue door or rotate in through bathroom, perhaps. I'm not too sure if that was the full idea or not, because again, Trist did not have case, already low on HP, playing by himself, yet we had Nomad out on Astro window, and we had a very fast push leading in through the back doorway from like the grass area, heading in through statuary itself, after turning to a 5-on-3. So maybe that was the grand scheme of things for TookTheKids, but still, just having that 5-on-3 and just, like you said, Big Cojones swinging it, it just worked out for them, and I guess Nocturnes were completely shook by that.
Bomb located by attackers.
And Nocturnes too, a couple of their players just kind of standing there, just kind of chilling. Both sides so far. I mean, this isn't ranked. You can't stand in the middle of the room, hold the doorway, and be like, "Hey, I'm on the off angle."
5 seconds left.
It doesn't work like that. At least not consistently. I mean, it does work like that
Attacker's
sometimes.
objective is to defuse
When people have
bomb.
info on you, it doesn't work like that. But now we're on AVG, not Trophy anymore. We have a Chonka in play. That's Nyx playing him, both the Chonka and the Smoke, in fact. So tons of delay power, so much time. What is that? 30 seconds with the Smoke. How many seconds is each of the Chonka fire things? 5 seconds?
I think it's much less because the vast quantity. I think it's between like 5 to 7 seconds.
Well, if we're lowballing it and giving it 5 seconds, that is a whole 70 seconds. So at minimum, they have about 100 seconds, a minute 40 of delay. That's quite a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things about Aviator is you can kind of fall back on the stall trope of your opponent is going to spend a lot of time trying to go for that roam clear, setting up flank watch, and still trying to rotate in the last minute to either go study or want to play up top red to kill anybody 90. And then if you have something like, the smoke or the Chonka, even a Goyo, because he's still very good on this site, even without the shields, that's a lot of time still and a lot of utility you got to crunch through for the attack. So if TookTheKids, self-stall themselves here, they might not even be able to enter the site. But with Lackey already dead, it's at least the man advantage TookTheKids kind of early.
Yeah, Tragical has been really forward with his entries, I guess we'll say. He is not afraid to go ahead and take that first engagement, as we can see through these first couple rounds. He'll take Lackey off the board. Slothy whips his impact into the wall in front of him, meaning that it's not going to stop the full ace breach, and Nyx will end up dying. So all of that delay power we just talked about, well, it's kind of been ripped away from us. Now, Exod's the only one left with those toxic gas canisters, and he's teaming up with Filthy in a 2 versus 5. Look at the time. TookTheKids have a whole minute now to play with. Plenty of crossfires in the site. Exod will land a beautiful one onto TPA, but the attacker's starting to barrel into study, take out Filthy. Now it's all up to this smoke, all by his lonesome. They seem to know exactly where he is. He'll win one fight, but not the other. Tragical is there for the immediate response, and TookTheKids tie the score.
Again, early aggression for the offensive side of TookTheKids. You get that first gunfight, and it gives them more opportunities, less angles to worry about. We saw an immediate transition into study, and at that point, they really had everything secured. The util was not even something that held back TookTheKids in the slightest. We only got to see a small fraction, I think, of the Shamika launchers being tossed on out, or the fire from that Shamika launcher, sorry. And yeah, the smoke canisters stopped anybody pushing in from map, but that was it. They still had to worry about all of Vault Wall. They had to deal with 90 entering bar. Still, a lot on the plate of just the lone smoke of Exod. So it's going to be fully equalized up, and now a timeout is popped here for Nocturnes to rethink what they've been bringing out so far on their defensive half.
I don't know if we switched the screen in time or if you guys saw chat, but there is a timeout. This is a Nocturnes timeout. I guess not happy with the way the last two defenses have gone, and it's really not any error in strategy either. It's TookTheKids forcing themselves in and winning those gunfights. Nocturnes have not looked like they've stood a chance so far in these first couple rounds. Hopefully that is not a common theme that's going to keep going throughout the rest of this defense, because what was an advantage for Nocturnes has now slipped away. They've lost Trophy, they've lost AVG, and they'll finally see if they can get the third site.
And back on the point of going for those aggressive engagements, they just seemed much better in that department last round in comparison to round number 7, where it was Filthy versus Trist, and as your only hard breacher want to take the opening duel, definitely seems risky.
Yeah, questionable.
Yeah, at least they had Tragical do that, and then Trist got aggressive after already setting up to do his job. And I think he already had opened up a hunting wall, so if you don't get study opened up, it's not the end of the world when you go for that late rotate. It's more or less there just so nobody can play and study because you're there on the balcony. That's the bigger issue. If you do open up the AV or the wall leading in through AV, that's fine too. Another cutoff angle weakens the, I guess weakens some of the pressure for like a rotate, but normally people just play with like smokes and nitro cells and bar. So again, not that big of a concern, especially when hunting's already opened up. So moving into dining, yeah, TookTheKids. This is probably the best option, or probably one of the better rounds they have in terms of, winning a round, so long as they just keep this fast pace and can do a very effective job in terms of this roam clear.
Yeah, they do have C4s and a pulse, but those might prove rather ineffective considering the way TookTheKids are currently attacking. They're going almost full horizontal. Nyx has a setup in living room. He's also got backup from Lackey holding a very long angle all the way from clock through that wall. Reposition here from Nyx. I don't actually know what they call this little area. Kind of this like cubby by the living room trip wall. He'll get droned out once again and fall back through the hatch. Something that I actually noticed, Not Nice, every time Not Nice tried to roam inside of living, he never had the hatch open. So I'm glad Nocturnes have more foresight than TookTheKids, allowing their Aruni to get away.
Yeah, just refusing to play for a fallback, it seems a little a little counterintuitive. Sometimes you have to swallow your pride and think about the bigger picture and not just you getting a flashy kill in the beginning of the round. Sometimes you are not in a good position to win the gunfight and you need to fall back to play for the anchor game or play for a light lurk. So glad we have that happen by Nocturns. Minute 20 left, and we still have TookTheKids trying to potentially deal with this top floor pressure with just a singular attacker, and I'm not too sure they have the intel that someone's playing in Astro, so this actually might be a very deadly position for TookTheKids depending on how their intel game is looking in this final minute.
TookTheKids, yeah, they've got someone upstairs. Is that not nice?
It is.
Yeah, that is not nice. I saw the silhouette, and I was like, is that Nomad? So not nice is the lone player tasked with clearing upstairs. Never mind, he's got support from the window rappel, which, ooh, Lackey was looking to rip away when he missed a couple of those shots. So now the Zofia of Tragical knows that someone is very close to his rappel on those Astro stairs, but there is support coming. Not Nice has forced his way all the way into Trophy, looking for the crossfire on Slothy, but is not staring at the door that allows the Malusi to fall back into sight, and Lackey is still there on the staircase. Trist is currently being spotted out by that pulse scanner of Exod, so if he walks into the site, the defense is sure to know, and he'll start encroaching on that default plant spot with Case, trying to get behind Tetris, immediately going to get slapped down by Slothy. TPA gets a trade on Filthy, keeping it even. Tragical, another one finally killing that Astro Stairs player. Here's the push through China. It's successful. They get all the trades and then some, leaving it all up to Nyx, and he's in the basement. He's in Narnia. There's nothing he can do to deny this plant. Mr. B's going to get it down for free. Oh, nearly the denial. I thought Mr. B was planting Tetris, but no, he was out in the open. The info coming through just in the nick of time, and a wall bang from Not Nice. Nyx had the round at the tip of his fingers, only for Not Nice to slap it away.
Like you mentioned, incredibly down to the wire for that last second push by Nyx, but the general inactivity I felt by Nocturnes, they were just all holding the exact same location, which just allowed time to kill just kind of dogpiling their opponents there in the final few moments. The roam game, although it wasted a lot of time, did absolutely nothing except waste that time, which sometimes is not horrible, but when TookTheKids are still in a good spot to go for that push, but they are just a little short on seconds, it's not going to matter. Theoretically speaking, it's that 4 versus 3 because we have Nyx in the middle of nowhere not doing much, and then we have two people kind of contesting near Astro Stairs and then Astro Window. So theoretically speaking, TookTheKids, they've got the advantage. They can just play for that numbers game, and because they have better weaponry and generally better positioning, they're going to win that any day of the week, and that's exactly what happened. It came down to that 1v3, and again, with the intel game still being fantastic for TookTheKids, they were able to quickly readjust and still make sure their plant spot did not get denied by the Nightmare Man himself of Nyx.
I'm surprised Mr. B planted there.
Maybe worried about the
That was a weird
time.
plant spot. Maybe, I guess.
We'll never know.
I can't believe how close Nyx was to winning that round. Man! Maybe he was running with his pistol out a little bit early. He gets there. But, so the kids have the lead now, John. They have taken the last 3 attacks in a row. They have looked indomitable, I might say. Tragical is looking to make a play. No drones going all the way to 90 just yet, so he will not push it. Instead, it's Trist with the same exact thing he did the first time they attacked this site. Only this time, it's not Filthy he's killed, it's Lackey, and he's not taking a beating either. Trist comes away almost full HP with that kill.
Not a bad spot at all for TookTheKids, and there is a refrag, your hard breach gone, but that was not the reason why you ended up winning the last round, although that was a very strong read by Exod, expecting Trist to immediately fall back and then want to rotate in a master. That was a clean spawn peek, and thank you to our observer for highlighting that as well to feed us that information there. But 4 versus 4, and again, like the point I was getting at, it was the innate aggression we saw by TookTheKids, especially entering statue. That's kind of what caught Nocturnes off guard and gave TookTheKids, again, another solid position to try to go for that plant. So if we don't see Nocturnes fully set up to stop that from happening, then this is still a good chance to see match point by TookTheKids, especially now that they're in a 4 versus 3.
Was Nyx downstairs at Castle?
I believe he was.
All right, well. Serves him right. He'll go down next. 4 versus 3, but a misdrone from TookTheKids. They will not spot Filthy behind the statue unless they know No, Tragical has no idea. Look at the way he's playing this. He has absolutely no clue. Filthy's good for at least one here. Will he be refragged? Actually, are they just going to completely avoid him? They're just going to wade through the dissipating smoke, try and attack through Boar. Slothy's looking the wrong way. TookTheKids are just walking right in. They'll catch him off guard. Exod gets one, but is instantly traded, and Filthy can't land the shots. The Roni proves too strong for him, and TookTheKids put themselves on map point.
Well, I had a feeling it would happen. It was, again, the immediate aggression we saw by TookTheKids, and also still being able to adapt on the fly. They did not have ace, so triple is out of the option. So what they do is they don't go statuary. They've got two people walking up through Astro's stairs, and they go in for more of a deer approach instead, which really worked out beautifully because that one cheeky spot we saw held by the Aruni completely floundered because no one walked into them directly. They found, I believe, just one kill, but that was clearly not enough to swing the round back in the favor of Nocturnes, and we have seen a dry spout, basically, at the end of the first half, heading into now for Nocturnes. They have not won a single round, I think it was, in this second half. Yeah, because it was a 4-2 split. They have just done horrible on their defenses. I'm going to put it bluntly. They just have not been playing all that well, and TookTheKids, they have been just taking full advantage of that so far.
I'm not going to lie, John. At the beginning of this game, after that first half, I was a little worried. I was a little concerned, perturbed even, about my prediction elo. And now, I'm slightly more comfortable now.
That's good.
TookTheKids have been looking phenomenally on this attack. I mean, like you said, their mid-round adaptations right before the execute have been really good. It's like they kind of set up around the site at like every possible option, and then once they see the hole, they all rotate over and blitz and wedge their way in, and there's nothing that Nocturnes can do. So AVG, it was a 90 push last time from TookTheKids that ended up working out. It looks like we might see something similar as they start with the master side over.
Makes sense. They've got the Nomad, so there's the flank watch immediately in Astro, and they don't have a lot of grenades. So playing for master, or not master, sorry, playing for main, the other M-word call-out, doesn't make a lot of sense. They have a ton of information, both the line and just their fantastic drone skill, once again, because they spot out Lackey immediately. Although it's a default spot, they know he's there, so that's a confirmation for sure. It just makes more sense they want to go for this take. And again, nothing has really failed them just yet. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I guess that's been their sort of thought logic so far. But for Nocturnes, they have slightly changed up their play. Again, they have somebody red. They've got Nyx playing near the actual like red hallway to make sure no one can shoot him in the back when someone's pushing him from the lower regions. So there's definitely more in the pocket for Nocturnes to hold out rather than just inside the site directly. But I mean, still, the mid-round presence by TookTheKids has been just spot on. So they really have to go above and beyond here in this 11th round.
Yeah, I like this crossfire from the Wamai and the Jaeger, but Tragical is going to force his way in, completely avoiding the Jaeger for now. Lackey finally peeks up, and Tragical just gives his life away for free. There's a C4 downstairs from Nyx as well that could easily kill Trist, and right on cue. 2 kills in a row for Nocturnes, down to some weird play from TookTheKids, and Mr. B watching outside the study window whiffs his shots on the main stairs player. So no recourse just yet for this attack. Lackey has retreated deeper down red, making sure that TookTheKids don't have an easy one against him. Instead, they're going to have to worry about him for the remainder of this round, unless they have, maybe a drone or an air jab covering it. 2 gas canisters as well, still in the pocket for Exod to try and delay the push, but TPA is already behind the vault door. Not Nice gets a kill from behind maps, and Not Nice might plant right in the corner to avoid Lackey, but he's taking fights right now. Slothy goes down. Mr. B, another watching study. Ooh. TPA's going huge in sight, and now Lackey, the man who retreated down red, is the last one left. Not Nice un-ADSs to hit the hip fire. TookTheKids win the round. It looked impossible, but again, they find the hole, or rather, Nocturnes opens the hole for them. They walk in and kill everything.
And not a singular round won by Nocturnes on their defense.